Okay, and we're live on the Niche Agent. So today we've got a great guest for you. It's Jeff Lobb. You're the founder and CEO of Spark Tank Media. So Jeff, why don't you take a quick second and tell us a bit about yourself and why you're here?
Sure, thanks. Spark Tank Media founded only about 5-6 months ago, and was really put into effect to bring good real estate products to the real estate industry, both from the tech and marketing side, as well as be a media company to offer other services such as speaking, video product, and everything else. So I didn't want to be boxed into just one thing. So Spark Tank is the umbrella of many different products. So.
Okay, great. So people may recognize you. So can you tell us where they may have seen you or what they know about you?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've had the pleasure of speaking on the Agent Reboot Tour for Inman. I've spoken at Inman Connect, Risk Media, Explode conferences. A lot of different boards have brought me in, and I'm now anxious, looking forward to next spring. I've got a bunch of big brands looking to bring me into their conferences, so
awesome.
Excited for that, yeah.
Okay, so today we want to talk about digital media and digital marketing because that's kind of your specialty. So before we get to there, I kind of want to take you back from where you started, how you got to where you're at, and why you are here and who you are.
Sure. I started in real estate a long time ago. I'm showing my age here a little bit. I knocked on doors in a beautiful gold jacket. 1988 was when I started. No technology existed. We learned probably the best way to sell real estate was just go out and talk to people. And as much digital, devices we have nowadays, I think agents sometimes hide behind technology a little bit and kind of don't do as much face-to-face as we should. So I evolved through that time frame. Somewhere in the middle, I took a hiatus to a corporate world when the first cell phone was being introduced, or one of the first, for a company called Bell Atlantic Mobile, which is today Verizon Wireless. So I was on board with them as a manager, starting young in the cellular, then turned .com business. And for 10 years, while I kept my real estate career kind of in the back burner but still active, I ran the corporate ladder of several different internet.com companies. Shortly enough after that, in '99, it busted. Everything fell off the face of the earth. And what better place to go after you've just lost all your money in the .com is back into real estate and start over again. So I did. Built teams, built some brokerages, but more importantly, I was a selling active agent most of my life, and really big on taking listings. I was a big listing guy, and I learned to build teams around me to do the stuff that I couldn't do. So as I did that, I built up through the corporate world now of real estate with a couple large brands, became executive level there for them, and got a lot of speaking opportunities. And it was up until recently we decided to take a leadership role of my own company and go out and help other people in the industry.
So from all that experience, needless to say, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they kind of joke and say I speak 3 languages, English, real estate, and technology, because I can kind of pull it all together and make some sense of it,
It's funny because most people speak 1 and not the 3, so that's good.
It's overwhelming. I look at it, I see their faces every day when I'm on a stage, and I look in their eyes, and I can see them just like, holy cow, what do I do now?
Okay, so I want to take you through, so getting this company started, what was your vision and idea for this company then?
My vision, obviously, I think with any good company to come out is try and solve some problems. And while we can't solve them all, my vision was to take all the speaking engagements I've done over the past 3 to 5, 6 years. I've learned a few things, is no matter how many good ideas they get, how many notes they take, and how many things they can fill up their iPad with, they'll walk away with those 2 or 3 good ones. But it's after the fact, 3 to 5 days later, they're back in the biz, and they look at their computer and go, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Jeff or somebody, the speaker said to do some of this stuff. I don't have time to figure it all out. How do I do it? So I created a product to help solve that problem, which is a video training of actually how to do and execute the technology. So, you could sit there and watch me on screen, kind of like this, except I'm showing you, go to your LinkedIn and click on this button, and I'm following you around so that you actually go do something.
Okay.
Execution.
So who would you say is your ideal person that you're working with? What kind of agent are you attracting?
Well, it's amazing. I've had a product out like that with it behind a brand for some years, and I've learned a few things I didn't realize myself. It was meant for the agent and the broker, mainly for the broker because they don't have the time or the knowledge or resource to go figure it all out. So it was a value add to the broker so the agent can execute. That's what I thought it was. And then what I did learn is brokers found more value in it than ever because now it became a differentiator of a tool. They're using it for recruiting purposes. They're using it to do lunch and learns. and they're now leveraging it to kind of make them more expansive in their broker role, while yet agents can log in anytime. So I kind of learned some stuff as I built it as well.
Okay. So what are you seeing happening now as you got this started? Where is it kind of rolling, and where are you going with it?
Well, obviously, we could go right to the individual agents. My job is to try and find how do I get it into the masses. And I would love the few opportunities I have on my plate, literally here is try and give it to as many people as possible at an affordable price, so they actually use it. So I'm looking at either big boards or a company that says, hey, we would love to just embed this in our whole platform and let everybody use it, versus getting 3 agents sign on and 2 agents sign on. I think it's better we expand it to a brand or several brands that can leverage, the technology and marketing. So.
Okay. So today we want to talk about kind of some of those strategies, things you've learned, things that we can actually apply, because I really like the episodes we have where people can actually take away something, go back and apply it to their business, because it's easy to talk about these grand ideas, but if you're not actually going to apply it, like you said, you can take notes and notes and notes, but if you're not going to actually walk away with something, to me, there's no point. So can we delve into that and kind of give some ideas for agents to actually start applying to their niche?
Sure. Let's just, come up a couple different topics and ideas. First is I love taking listings. So a very simple digital product, which many of you have heard about maybe, but not actually looked at the mobile portion of it. I talk about this a lot, is just Animoto. And I don't know if you've ever played around with Animoto before, but people have played around with the desktop version, and it's pretty cool. If you've not seen their new mobile version for any device, the slick part is okay, great, I got Animoto, but what do I do with it? Well, when you have the capability of just literally taking pictures on your listing appointment, take 10, 15 photos, you could literally go sit in your car, put together an Animoto on their new mobile. When I say it's smooth, I could drag and drop right on the screen. I could hear the music right on the screen. It compiles it in like 10 minutes. The differentiator for me, thinking from a listing perspective, is I take my pictures, I'm done, I sit in my car or go back to my office, and I put one together, and then they're now textable. Text one right to my client as a little thank you. Hey, thanks so much for spending time today. Anxious to come back with my market analysis, and I just wanted to send you a little start of our marketing. And I make it just a little cute, fancy video where they're like, holy crap, that's amazing, because I know they're interviewing my competition. So I use it that way. I use it in a way I always show them a good demo live on my listing presentation on my iPad. Okay. And then the real good way to spin this is after the sale, if you're working with buyers, is create the Animoto, whether it be from a mobile device, and put your picture second or third from the last screen with a really nice, congratulations from your professional, logo and phone number, whatever it is. And when you're done with that, any good, happy buyer sees a video of their home you just shared with them, they will virally share it so many places, and I say jokingly and truthfully, they can't take you out of it. So you are embedded in their video for like life, as long as they share it. So I think the ways of applying it are the more benefit than actually the creation of it. Because I know I can differentiate myself right there. So that's a real fun topic for me to talk about with Animoto as well.
I want to add on to that, because one of the things that I've done a number of times is, in addition to that, is if I know I'm going to a listing appointment, I'll go and pre-register their address as a domain name. So it costs me $10, but I walk in when I go to the listing appointment and say, hey, just so you know, I already registered 123 Main Street, so once we're ready to go, we get the property listed, we've already got the domain ready. So you could literally tie that in, have it linked, and have their domain.
Record it. Sweet. That's another great tie-in. Yeah, and for the $10, if you're not doing that for a listing, my God, you got to invest a little bit,
Okay. So what else?
I think another topic I like to talk about a lot is agent websites.
Okay.
I think a challenge with them is with all the competitive landscape. Now I know you're up in the Canadian market, and I guess people across all North America are going to see this.
Yep.
Yeah. So challenge is, there's so much competition on the web for an agent website. Unless you're paying for a lead gen website, or you're a really good blogger doing your own SEO, or you're paying for pay-per-click, most agent websites have a hard time getting traffic.
Yeah.
They're a destination site. I tell my client to go there, they go there. And I think they're still needed for representation. Problem is when you get people that actually find your site, people you don't know, they're online, searching stuff, and then they're gone. What I always ask is, what's the likelihood of them ever coming back unless you had that magical listing? Mm-hmm. Very unlikely they're going to come back. They're going to get tossed around in 10 other sites. So I've always asked myself is, how do you get them back? You know, if you spent you finally got them there, how do you impress them at that point? So a really neat concept called video retargeting is a really cool way to get them back, and also has such a huge value proposition when I explain a little bit more to you on how it's working from a perception and recognition standpoint. So here's how it would work: is I sign up for a retargeting company, and I'll give you a name of one I work with in a second. So you set up with them, you set up a video ad, and video ads typically perform better than still ads because of motion. So I got this cool little video ad designed, whether it be my brand, my brokerage, my team, whatever it is. And someone hits my website, they shop, whatever it is, they leave. Boom. So it drops a cookie on their computer, and next thing you know, they're on CNN later. What do they see on CNN? It's my ad popping up. So my ad's popping up on CNN saying, hey, we'd love to see you back to our site. First of all, what's the impression of that?
The consumer thinks that you're super professional and you're connected with those connections.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they go to, a Bed Bath & Beyond or something like that, or an ad somewhere, and they see my ad pop up there again, or they see some other different site or platform where they're seeing my video. First of all, I would never want to spend the money it would really cost to be on a CNN or whatever really big. But here's the consumer going, wait, I just hit this guy, he's like a local guy, but he's on all these freaking sites thinking I'm spending a boatload of marketing money.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's really not even costing me a penny per delivery. 1 penny per delivery. So I think it's so slick to be able to have that opportunity, not just to get them back, but I also think from the listing standpoint. If I get some screenshots of this stuff, and I go on a listing appointment and say, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, anybody who visits my site to see your home or any home, we're going to use technology to not only market to them, but to bring them back if they didn't stay the first time, through advertising with companies like, and really it's the Google network. We can drop the names of who's in the Google network, and amongst us, it's costing a penny a piece with no limits, no caps, no monthly fees, and no design work through a company called Fuel 451 based out of California.
Okay, we'll put that in the show notes so people can check that out.
So they just recently launched for real estate, and I'm still shocked that I'm going, okay, there's no monthly setup, you're not charging me to design the ad, no minimum. So I could say I got a $20 budget a month. When that fills up, which is still a lot of visits to your site.
Yep.
So some really slick ways to do that, but I would leverage it on the listing side once I got some demos of it out there with my stuff. So I'd spin it. So,
yeah, that's a great way to do it. I was tossing that idea around with one of the people I coach, and I said, if you could get the if you know you're going on a pre-listing appointment, if you could get that client to come to your site ahead of time, so you could say, click here to download this or get a copy of this before we meet, you could now run targeted ads to them. So if you know your listing appointment's next week, you line it up. So over the next week, they're going to be seeing your stuff all the time and for fractions of the cost. And now when you walk in the door, they've already seen your message on those before they've even talked to you about the listing.
Awesome ideas. You got to have a driving point to get them there. Go to my site and maybe download a pre-listing or a pre-package or something. Get them there so it drops that cookie, and then they'll see all throughout the week that you're kind of following them around. They're gonna be like, my God, I see you everywhere.
Yeah, it works great. It's I don't know if you know Dean Jackson. He's a guy, I love his stuff, and I know he used to do, before technology, he had a local radio or a local TV show on cable TV, and he would plan his listing appointments around when his show was on TV. So he would walk in, be doing the listing appointment, say, oh, by the way, actually my show's on. So then he'd turn on the TV, and it just helps build that credibility.
Yep. Yeah, it's awesome.
So for the retargeting, where do you see that being effective, not just for the listing side, but I mean for people who are focusing on a niche, they've got a specific demographic, sociographic, area niche, like where could you see them really using that to grow their business?
I see it in a couple different ways, because I think the retargeting companies are getting smarter by better use of big data. And what that means is, and here's something that they're test piloting right now, and I see this as an opportunity. So when someone, again, comes to that site and we've kind of got a snapshot of who they are, because we dropped a cookie now, if the technologies study their shopping and surfing habits. Are they going to Home Depot? Are they going to Lowe's? Are they going to Best Buy? What are their habits? And when it studies those habits of that particular person that was interested in real estate, they're going after people with similar habits, similar tracking, that have not been to your website,
Right.
and maybe give you an option to deliver advertising, almost prospecting people with those same habits to them to drive them to your site for initial visits. So I see big data getting used a little bit better by the demographic of studying it. Here's what they're doing. Let's find more people like them, and now let's bring them to your site. So I think it's a pretty slick concept of use of big data.
So now that company you'd mentioned, they take care of that big data and manage that, or is that something that the agent themselves is going to have to monitor and track?
No, they do that. I mean, let's look. At the end of the day, they want more ways to deliver ads. Yep. So if they could find better prospects for you to deliver ads to with similar commonalities, it makes sense. So no, they take care of that on their end. And it's something they're piloting for results, and I think they'll start to see results based on similar data.
Okay. So what's been the most effective strategy with the retargeting for you, other than the listing side? Are you doing anything else with it, or is it strictly just listings and brand recognition?
No, at this point, I mean, obviously the goal is still driving back. If you have a really hot listing, it's a way to market that listing too, right. Because you could drive that listing out as an ad itself.
Yep.
Keep in mind, still it's in its infancy. We haven't really gotten really super creative yet with it, but it's really just rolling out into that real estate space now. So in a different state.
Now, one of the other big topics in line with that is Facebook ads, because people are starting to use Facebook because of the ability to really hone in on who you're going after. Are there any strategies you've seen that work well? Because I've heard people who say, it's a horror story with Facebook, I've jumped a ton of, it's a gold mine and I'm making a ton of money and spending nothing. So do you have any techniques that work with Facebook ads?
Yeah, I think the mistakes are being made by just not having, first of all, you always got to run an A and a B ad. You got to run two side by side with similar messages but different images, and you're going to find little tricks and tips sometimes that will make the biggest difference, such as using the word we have a free report versus receive a free report. Mm-hmm. When someone says we have a free report, they're thinking it's kind of someone personal is going to get this to me and I don't want to play with that, versus receive's coming from a generic form, I'm not as intimidated. And when you run tests side by side and you see that the we ad gets third significantly less than something generic, I think it's the creativity of the wording and the image that we're putting out there for advertising. It's that minute. I've had some great success with it. I'm continuously running them weekly for a lot of different products that I have. But to me, I mean, I think second to the government, Facebook has the most significant data pinned down to you as a person than almost any database that's available today. And you could really pinpoint that target audience you want at very low cost right now. So,
which is exciting and scary at the same time. Scary as a consumer, exciting as a marketer, because it allows you to do a ton of stuff. Yeah. And I've told people many times that what you have in your hands with Facebook ads is, years ago, marketing companies paid tens of thousands of dollars to do this market research, and you literally go click, 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 here's who it is, click, 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 and you're done. So if you're not using them, I think people are missing out on a lot because they don't realize what's available to them, that they really understood how to do it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest mistake is made in, when they design that little ad for you, so they kind of mock it up for you already. It's changing all that to make it a really good responsive ad. And some people, well, what's the secret? There is no secret. You got to be a good marketing mind. If you don't know one, find one or get one to coach you or something that can give you those different nuances so that you get a good return, because you could get a significant return. Does it take you to a good landing page? Does your landing page look like what it's supposed to look like, or does it deter me away? So there's a lot of factors in that, but it's a great return for what they're doing. And I hear people still getting angry with Facebook about, oh, the damn ads. And with all due respect, I mean, I heard this recently is, we've been on the Facebook network for years for free, rent-free, having a fabulous tool. They're a business.
Yeah.
At some point, they're allowed to make money. Please don't be mad at them. I mean, it's been rent-free for how many years? They've got to start collecting somewhere. But you got to look at the positive side of it. Still look at the valuable tool it brings.
Yeah, and the opportunities, like I bought things, I found different things through some of those ads where it has been a positive experience because they knew what I wanted and they got it in front of me and I saw it and said, yeah, I'll take a look at that, and I bought a book or bought it works well if you use it right.
Sure.
So
I think
is that something that you help people with and with your company, like those type of marketing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, that's for a little bit. Some that are a little more sophisticated in their marketing, but yeah, because we're running our test A's and B's, and look, I could say that we don't know all the answers either. I don't think anyone can tell you they do. We can tell you what's getting best results and why, and a lot of it is like any marketing is trial and error, and we've been playing around with it long enough and spent a boatload of money, and we keep trying.
And the testing is the key, and it's amazing because so many agents don't understand testing, and they think they've got this great idea, which it could be a great idea. They've got a catchy word or a catchy phrase or a nice listing. They throw it out there and then just run it. Never split test. Never run any type of control to see if it works. And with the technology now, I don't know why anyone wouldn't run split test, because it's inexpensive. It doesn't cost you any more to do it. It doesn't cost you any extra time, and those small differences can make huge difference.
I think so. And if you wanted to chat about one more thing, I think we should have a conversation. I don't know about you guys up there, but the new eye devices that just popped out. I'm getting questions emailed and Facebooked all day about what is this one like and how does it feel? Is it too big? Is it too small? Have you ventured down the new eye path lately with the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus?
I'm an Android guy, so.
Are you a Samsung or are you a Motorola or are you a?
It's Nexus 5, so.
Nexus 5, okay. Some people love the Note, some people. So it's up to you. If you want to chat about mobile or an app,
yeah,
I'm happy to talk about that.
That tends to be one where a lot of people are asking questions about the mobile and how they can use it, or how they can either use it with their business or how they can use it for the public side as well.
Well, I think from the public side, they have to look at it's not just about apps. It's really which data and which information can I get that can service my customer where I am and when they want it. Some people just want to sit down and they sit in these sessions, 100 apps in 100 minutes, and they're just typing them all out like mad people. You only need about 4, maybe 5, unless Facebook and your personal stuff. Yep. But the goal is find out what does the consumer want, and then when they ask me about it, how do I get it? Because that's what that device is for, is data on demand. I want the stuff now. And there's apps, depending on what part of North America you're in, some work differently. The Canadian market, based on location base, some work differently in the States. But there's a few really good ones that'll give you data for the most part, like Sitegeist is one of them. Sitegeist will give you data about your local market, like right where you are. That might be just in the States. I'm not sure if it's in the Canadian market just yet, or maybe it is. But it's pulling data about just local information. Okay. How many homes are in the area, how many people are in the area, age of the people in the area. But when you got that in front of a customer and you're giving them that kind of information, as you know, data is kind of a gauge. It's not 100% accurate.
Yep.
The impression, that customer's like, really? Really? And then they're looking at you going, well, how do I get that? And they're going to want the app and everything else on top of it. So I think there's some big values. I think there's a big disconnect of, and there's a good opportunity with mobile after the sale. After you close on a home, I think many of us in the industry make a big mistake by not really staying human and branded in front of them after. We send a drip campaign or we send a bunch of postcards and, magnets and whatever stuff we stick on their fridge. Let's say it doesn't work, because I'm sure there are people say, like, I send my magnets and I get referrals, and I'm not saying it doesn't work. Yep. But I think we're missing the opportunity here where recently one service, actually I was at the Mega Camp talking about this too at the booth, was a company like HomeKeeper. Have you heard of HomeKeeper yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so just here's an idea. Here's a concept. And there's a few companies out there, but when a homeowner closes on a home, most of the time, first of all, there's no instruction booklet that goes with it. You have no idea what to do with it. If you're a first-time home buyer, whatever it might be. But secondly, how do you keep yourself branded in front of them and create a value? So I looked at this concept and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. So what they do is you invite the customer to the app for free, right? They answer a bunch of questions about their house. So do you have central air conditioning? Do you have a pool? Do you have this? Do you have that? Real simple. Mm-hmm. And what it's going to do is send you reminders about, hey, spring's coming, you need to change the filters in your air conditioning. But more importantly, and I ask this maybe as your question, when you close on a home, do you give buyers like a list of your preferred vendors and contractors? Yeah. So it's usually in the form of a letter or a paper.
I have a booklet, but yeah.
A booklet. That becomes digitized now. So what you do is your vendor list of all the contractors, logos, design, all built into the app. So what's happening is the reminder comes up about gutter cleaning. Hey, you need a gutter cleaner. Well, here's one of Jeff's recommended vendors, and at the bottom of the app, branding you, the agent, all the time for referrals and emails. So they're referencing all your vendors digitally and the reminders of their home and ongoing stuff that's home related, and you're branded in their device. So to me, that's a better value of something versus sending, a postcard that tells them it's time to change their clocks or plant some flowers and stuff, So I'm looking at ways that stay sticky after the fact.
Yeah. And that's good because, say something happens to their house, they may not even be at home. They're not even going to be able to grab your binder or whatever you have, the booklet. Whereas if it's on their phone, they usually have their phone with them. They can literally say, okay, I need to call the plumber, I need to call whoever, and it's right there. So.
Right, and then you think about the vendors you truly work with, and you talk to them and say, listen, Mr. Plumber, we've been doing business for years. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make sure you're going into my customers' devices by doing that. You're going to be one of my preferred vendors, and let me show you how I'm going to put you in here. And eventually I think there'll be opportunities where you can probably, for a couple bucks, they might be able to bump to the higher with an ad, kind of almost like a phone directory. But at the same time, it positions you really good with some of your vendors now, and you can actually show it to them, digitally. So I think I think this concept is evolving into a really cool idea for value after the sale, where most of us kind of, turn to old school methodology. So.
Yeah, or do nothing.
Or nothing. That's the problem. Nothing. Yeah. So I think that's a slick idea, evolving.
Awesome. So on the agent side, then, what would you say would be the top 3 mobile applications or programs that people could be using as an agent for their business?
And it depends on what we're talking about. Let's stick to maybe either social or graphics, because always people want photo stuff. So if you don't mind, you pick a topic. So let's say photo related stuff for better pictures, better marketing.
Yeah.
I would say some of my favorites right now for taking photos, and both for Android and iPhone, Pro HDR. Pro HDR takes stellar photos and has editing tools in there with lighting and all sorts of stuff. And if you saw some of the pictures we take with them, you wouldn't even believe it's from an iPhone or an Android. So Pro HDR is one of them. I really love the creativity of working with a simple app like Diptyque, where I can frame stuff out, collage them, take the front of the house, put the hot tub, this, that, and make it all into one marketing flyer. Because we share marketing flyers all the time, and I hate to say it, they're very blah. They're like Word doc-ish. And there's, with photos now, we have such an opportunity to be visual. They're giving us the apps to make it all right here on the device visual. We just have to go do it. Yep. So putting together a collage of the property with text over top of it and stuff you can email, link, and text anybody, that to me is a differentiator as well. And there's many that do that. I like Diptyque for that one. And what else? App. For, Snapseed. Snapseed is a great editing. Yeah, the problem is when we take most of our photos straight up, there's never enough light.
Yeah.
There's never enough stuff to add that concept of the smaller room. So Snapseed you can use. If you want to look into some really cool technology that's evolving, I want you to take a look at this new augmented reality that's happening with 3Ds, where Virtual View app is one that's pretty slick. That literally takes a floor plan and pops it off the page.
Yeah.
That's evolving. I see that's something that's going to even get better. But the 2 or 3 marketing ideas right now between Snapseed, Diptyque, and Pro HDR, you should be able to put together some beautiful photographic marketing pieces.
And then that ties back into if you do the Animoto video, create the video with those, plug it in, and send it off.
Right. The Animoto I would leverage all day long. There's so many ways I could spin that. I even created my own speaking promo video out of Animoto, because if I didn't say this before, Animoto also takes in video clips too, which is pretty slick. So you upload a 60-second video clip, and then it lets you just kind of pull down the clip that you want. It just kind of cuts the piece out. It's beautiful. To have that integration.
And very user-friendly. It's not like Windows Movie Maker. I remember I started making videos and slideshows, and it just looks cheesy and dated. Animoto makes it clean, smooth, and you don't know that it's a pre-done edited thing where that just it's great. It's amazing what it can do.
For $250 a year, whatever it is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would use it. Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to give our listeners one piece of advice, if they're just getting started in that digital space and trying to find their own way, other than going to your program and working with you, what advice would you give for them?
I think they need to not get overwhelmed by all the technology. I think I see people trying to do too much. They go to a social media training. I'm the first one to tell you, don't do everything. If you tell me, oh, I'm on this and I'm on Twitter, and then I look at your Twitter account and you got 5 followers and you have it, don't do it. Get rid of it. Do the things that you're going to be able to do well, because we'll spend so much time here that we lose track that our real job is to go sell real estate and focus on people. And that happens a lot. They're so focused on trying to create a magic bullet that's going to make life easier. 2 or 3 really good differentiators is all you need. The rest of it has to be, don't forget that you got to network and prospect. You've heard it for years, but I think technology is trying to drive people off a little bit into thinking there's a better way. And technology isn't a better way. It's a way to assist with what you're doing in the same business we've always done since 30 years ago.
I always say technology just speeds up the process and gets you to meet them quicker. You still got to meet with them, still got to connect with them, you still got to be belly to belly and make those relationships. Absolutely.
And I do know a lot of people try and take tech marketing people and say, we're just trying to show, because I come from that real estate background as you are too, real estate is still real estate, and we can't lose focus on that. People still want to like you and trust you and get that warm and fuzzy when they meet you, or they don't.
Yep.
Exactly. Build those, more of those, and technology will help itself. But
awesome. Okay, yeah, well, that's great advice, and those are awesome tools and tips. We're going to put those in the show notes as well so people can check that out. So for the listeners, if they want to check out what you're doing and what you're doing with Spark Media, what's the best way for them to see that?
They go to sparktankmedia.com, sparktankmedia.com. If you want to go there, check out the real estate products that are there, or technically real estate, technically coaching. They're all tabbed out. Check it out. Shoot me an email if I can help. If you want me to come out and speak and do an event for you guys, I'll be happy to talk about that too. I bring a lot of really good content. We have a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, it's really giving you some tools you need to go win some business. If it doesn't do that, it's useless to talk. So thank you so much for having me on. So I appreciate the opportunity.
We appreciate it, and I know the listeners will definitely enjoy what you shared. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks. We'll see you.